All right, we've got Coach Candrea here. Troy is the first one with his hand raised. So Troy, go ahead.
So, Coach, can you take me through that moment, learning that Alyssa Palomino's Cardoso's knee had no structural damage? Just getting to know that. Can you take me through that moment?
Well, obviously with her past history, you kind of expect the worst. And I was feeling a little bit better about her when I saw her walking the next day. So I figured if it was a break or something that wouldn't be happening. And then I was just on pins and needles until we got her back to Tucson and got her checked out. And once I got the news that it was a bruise, right now we're just trying to get her range of motion back and, should have a chance to play again. So that's exciting news for us.
And then,
and for her.
And then Janelle took over in center field this weekend for her. Could you just evaluate her performance? I know she had that great catch in center field in the last game.
Well, Janelle's played the game at a high level all year. I mean, in the leadoff spot, has been consistent, probably one of our most consistent performers day to day. And we know that she can play center field. I mean, that's a really good option. She covers a lot of ground. She's fast. And so I really wasn't concerned about that move at all. I felt that we would be just fine there. But there's some elements of Palomino that you can't replace. And I'm looking forward to her getting back on the field and hopefully get her back to where she can start playing the game at a high level again.
Kim?
Coach, there have been some times where you just not getting the key hits.
Yeah.
Are they making the moment too big, or is it approach? What do you think?
Well, that's very insightful on your part. Yeah, I think sometimes we're just putting a lot of pressure on ourselves, and I think that's kind of my goal right now is to take them back a step or two and just they need to go out and they need to prepare themselves to play the game, but they need to also have some fun. And I think right now they're so outcome driven that when the outcomes aren't happening, the pressure gets even tighter, and it's hard to play the game that way, And many a times your analytical mind takes over, and you're analyzing, what am I doing wrong? Is it mechanics? Is it whatever it may be? When truthfully, when you're at your best in this game, you're playing with your intuitive mind, and all you're doing is reacting. You're keeping the game simple, see ball, hit ball, and I've been harping on them for the last, 3 or 4 weeks about just getting their eyes right, getting their eyes where they need to be, and hunting a pitch that they can hit. And I think sometimes we, in our process, we have not done a good job of making them have opportunities to instill that in batting practice. And so I've changed completely this week. Our BP is no longer the throw fatties and let them feel good and hit the ball out of the ballpark. It's more of it's a live BP, a live pitcher, and having live at bats. And I'm hoping that will help, because I looked at them yesterday and their ABs were really good because they were relaxed, they were loose, they weren't thinking about an outcome. And I think it's a mindset, and you would hope that, these kids would have that over a 4 or 5 year period. But let's face it, many of them have not played in some big games for a couple years. And I think sometimes the moment has gotten big on us. And I think we also are just pressing a little bit and trying to be perfect at a game that isn't perfect. And so my goal this week is to get back to having some fun with the game and have them realize that, all I want them to do is I want them to make sure they're focused, to make sure they're having fun, and then to expect good things. I think that's the bottom line is, I think too many times I can almost see it that we're expecting the bad thing to happen instead of anticipating the good thing to happen. And we've got to kind of change our mindset in that way. And I think they'll be fine. You know, we've got a lot of softball left, and I just want them to be the best version of themselves. And I think sometimes young kids they're pleasers. They want to please everyone. And I've said it all along that the toughest part about playing at this time in my career is social media. It's having to have people examine your performance, and if you're stupid enough to sit there and read it, it doesn't do anything but put bad thoughts in your mind if you're not doing well. And so it's kind of a double-edged sword where back in the day, you know, I didn't even post stats at one time. I didn't want them to even know what they're hitting, because every at-bat's a new day. It's a new at-bat. And so we got to kind of get back to that, take some pressure off them. I mean, that's my job, and to get them back to having fun. And you know, if they can control what they can control, then I can accept the outcome no matter what it is.
And moving to pitching, Bowen on Sunday, how'd you feel about her and how she's doing this year?
Well, she's doing great. I mean, Hannah Bowen works extremely hard for this opportunity that she got, and she's very well prepared. And I think right now she's the hot hand. I mean, she throws the ball on 4 different planes, and she's got a very high softball IQ, very good demeanor on the mound. She's fun to watch. You know, she's just a true competitor, and whether she's hitting or whether she's in the circle, she's got that same mindset all the time, and I really enjoy watching it, and I commend her on the hard work that she's put in to get to that point.
Alec?
Yeah, do you wish you may have made the move to do BP, live BP style maybe earlier in the season, or was kind of the ASU series the tipping point?
Yeah, I mean, hitting has not been an issue for us, you know, and I still don't think it is an issue, but I do think that when I watch BP, here's the tough part about batting practice. You think they're going to throw a strike every time, and unfortunately, if you don't have discipline during batting practice and you're swinging at bad pitches, pretty soon you start expanding the zone. And then all of a sudden you get in the game and you want to shrink the zone. It's not quite that easy. And so the big thing for me is to give them more opportunities to see balls that are live, see balls that are moving. And I think that will help our database when we move forward.
And then for Janelle, she's been having a really good season, but now she's going to be asked to do a little bit more with Alyssa being out. How do you maybe help her just stay focused and not let the additional pressures kind of get to her?
Well, I don't think that there's any additional pressure. I think she enjoys playing center field, so I don't think that's going to be a factor for her. I mean, she enjoys playing the game. She loves to play the game, and you know, anyone that grows up in our sport pretty much have grown up playing all 3 different positions out there. So it's not like she's going into a place that she's never been before. She's been there. And so I think Janelle will continue to do what she does, and she's a very good player defensively and a good player offensively.
And then just talking about Alyssa again, she's been through so many injuries, so many really tough injuries. What's it been like for you to see her and how she's handled that, and this one being less serious? Just how do you help her through those emotions?
Well, I thank the good Lord that she's everything turned out all right. I mean, it was kind of out of our control, and for a kid like her that's gone through so much, she's got such a big heart and such a good player, but has just really had a tough time and has had to battle through some really crucial injuries that can sometimes change the way you can play the game. And she continues to come back. She continues to do the body of work she needs to come back. And I'm happy for her right now that this wasn't an ending. At the end of the day, it's good to know that she'll be back and she'll be able to play. And so I don't think I've ever had an athlete go through as much as she has to be able to be on the softball field. And she's got a definitely a place in my heart for the rest of my life, because there's not many athletes that have gone through what she has to represent this university and this athletic program.
Ryan?
I thought it was interesting that ASU, they used two different pitchers in all three of the Pac-12 games. I'm just curious, like, what do you see as the pros and cons of that approach versus like the traditional, oh, we're going to ride our starter? I mean, even in the MLB, we're seeing this where like starters rarely pitch, more than 6 or 7 innings these days.
Yeah, starters are kind of a long lost breed right now. I mean, you go back in the days with Whitey Ford and Sandy Koufax, I mean, they would throw a complete game. But I think it's just kind of what you have and what you believe in, and if you have pitchers that are that maybe cannot get out of a jam and have kind of a proven record of that, then those are probably pitchers that maybe go around the lineup 1 time or 2 times. And I think the pitching coach in that situation probably has a better idea of what's best for them. A lot of times it's just bringing in a different look. I was disappointed that we saw the same 2 pitchers and didn't make better adjustments throughout the weekend. Yeah, that's, I mean, that's it from program to program, it can change. And I think there are times that, I've kind of grown up into you got a horse, you ride them, and I'm sure as we move throughout this, there's going to be times when we're going to have to throw 2 pitchers or 3 pitchers, especially with a 4-game series. So I don't know what her reasons were, but it was effective and it worked. And, this past weekend, we basically got outplayed, and we need to circle our wagons and get ready for what's ahead of us.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is that something maybe you could see your team doing a little bit more? Just I know on Saturday you were saying you're kind of looking for more consistency in the circle. Yeah,
and I just think it goes back to what I just said. Is I kind of feel like there's a little bit of a press going on. Kids trying to be perfect in a game that's not perfect. Kids that are maybe putting too much on themselves, that they have to get it done in this moment. And they're just making the moments way too big. And so, we need to try to find a way that we can get back to the basics of playing this game. And it is a game, and it's not life-threatening. And you have to have a little fun when you're playing it, And if you don't have fun playing this game, it can eat you up. And I think sometimes that's what I see is we just we're trying to please too hard and too much. And I think just a deep breath, relax, and get back to playing the game and having a little more fun may help this group.
Do you think seeing Alyssa get injured maybe could help reinforce that idea, because they can see that, oh, this game can be taken away at any moment? I know last year it did because of COVID as well. But. Yeah,
I think all of them understand that. I think that's not something that we need to spend a lot of time talking about. They all know that these moments are very precious, and this team will never be together again. This is. You got one shot at this, and I think the seniors, on the other hand, having gone through what they have, I think in itself has put pressure on them to be that perfect role model and that perfect person. And I think sometimes they're the ones that are probably putting too much pressure on themselves to have to come through every time. And so, we kind of built up that super senior class, and like I told them, we're not as good as everyone thought we were, and we're not as bad as we think we are. We just have to go out and play. And I just want the best version of this team right now from here on out, and whatever happens is going to happen. We got no control over it.
Troy?
I was going to ask you about Malia Martinez. She was sitting around, I believe, 270 a couple weeks ago. Now she's at 305. It seems like she's really started to turn around at the plate. What has gone into that? What have you seen in her progression?
Well, if you look back at Malia's career, you're going to see that pattern. I mean, she goes into spurts where she's really hot and goes into spurts where she's not seeing the ball well. Maybe her timing's off, whatever it may be. So it's you just hope that it happens at the good times, you know. And she's been a kid that has stepped up for us many a times in crucial situations. And I think the thing about Malia is I think Malia pretty much keeps a pretty clear mind and just plays the game. You know, she doesn't make the moment too big. But I think right now, when she's on time and she's seeing the ball well and she's taking good cuts, even if she's not making contact, but those cuts are on time, you know that she's she can make a run. You know, she can put a streak together like she has. And I think we have just about all those hitters. You know, that's the best hitters get a hit 3 out of 10 times, right? So it's a game of averages, and sometimes you have to play through those averages. You know, you're going to have some streaky moments, and it's kind of like Palomino. You know, Palomino will make a run and go 10 for 12, and then she may go 0 for 12. But that's the game we play.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks, Coach. Thanks, guys.
All right, bear down.
All right, we'll open up for questions. We've got Raina and Janelle here. Troy, you're first. Go ahead.
So, Raina and Janelle, this is for both of you. What were your thoughts hearing the news about Alyssa's knee not having any structural damage?
Sure. I think I was personally really excited and happy, and I was hoping for good news the whole weekend, and I'm just happy that we're able to have her back and just be stronger with her. We're just super excited that we get to play with her more.
Personally, I'm so happy because she's like my sister in the outfield, and I love playing with her, so I'm happy that wasn't the last time, and hoping for a speedy recovery with her.
And then Janelle, since the injury, you've had to take over center field. What advice has Alyssa given you out there in the series during ASU? What did she tell you?
Honestly, she just told me like that she believes like I'm gonna do fine. She just gave me that confidence that I'm gonna go out there and do what I do and play the game.
Ryan?
Yeah, and Janelle, how do you think you handled that? Obviously, you robbed that homer, which was a really impressive play.
I think I thought I did fine. I was pretty comfortable out there, especially because at practice I take reps from both positions, so it wasn't too much for me, I felt like.
And for Raina, you know, seeing Alyssa go down like that, does that kind of reinforce the idea that, you know, this any game could be your last? I know you guys have said that ever since, you know, the last season got canceled, but does that kind of even reinforce that even more?
Yeah, definitely. And not only because we're seniors, but because me and Alyssa have such past with injuries, I think we definitely play every game and every at-bat like it's our last. And I know every game and every at-bat is super important to me because I know it definitely could be my last at-bat, being my last season. So I just try to make the most of it, and I know all my seniors and all my other teammates do as well.
And Raina, you had that clutch hit leading up to Deja's RBI double. In those situations, what's the key to coming through in those pressure packed situations? Obviously, the crowd was on its feet and everything. I mean, what's kind of going through your mind when that's happening?
Yeah, I think my ultimate thing is I just try to stay calm. And I think it's funny because I remember I heard the crowd cheering and I was like, who knows, they could be cheering for me. Like, so I just took it like, oh yeah, they're cheering for me. So might as well have fun and do good. So I just try to stay calm and be light and still have fun in those situations because it's really an honor to be in those situations and just represent for my team.
And then just one more question for Raina. What was kind of that message in that senior huddle after the game on Sunday?
I think we really just want to get on we just want to get everybody on the same page and understand how we were feeling because we know performances like that, they're not acceptable and they won't be in the future. So we just want to get on the same page so we can then communicate to our younger teammates where we can go from now and how we can grow. So we just want to be on the same page as a leading senior class.
Anything else for Raina or Janelle? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Alec.
No worries. For Raina, now that you've been back for probably about 2 weeks now playing games, do you feel like you've regained or gotten up to the level of play that you were having earlier in the season?
Yeah, I definitely feel comfortable. And I don't think there was ever a moment where I felt scared. And I think that's what makes me the happiest to be back. I'm just trying to have fun, make the most of it, it being my last season. And I truly feel really comfortable being back and excited to be even better next weekend.
And then for either of you guys, what made that ASU series just so difficult offensively?
It's hard to put your thumb on it, just all summed up. Because definitely respect to their pitchers because they kept us off our feet. But I think with more work and preparation, we'll definitely be ready in the future. Because
then,
we scored more hits than we scored more hits than them. So I think hitting, we're really powerful hitters. We just need to put that together in sequence.
And then for Janelle, you're fairly young, in college, so stepping up into this spot in Alyssa's shoes, how do you just kind of mentally prepare to take on a larger role without her in the lineup right now?
Right now, I just can't let the game get too big, play the same game that I've been playing all of my life. And I feel comfortable with where I'm at. And until Alyssa gets back, I'm going to do my best out there. And I just feel really good with how I've been in the outfield and in the box as well.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Janelle, how do you think you're different or similar to Alyssa in center field?
Different or similar? I think different is that I am faster than Alyssa. Also, since she's been here longer, she is a lot more vocal, and that's something that I'm trying to work on, with my leadership and growing and stuff. She does that really well and communicating with everybody. But similar, we want to catch everything out there, not let anything drop, throw runners out. That's our goal.
And I guess just for Raina, I've just a kind of off-topic question, but we're talking to Alyssa one time, and she said that she doesn't watch film. She's never watched film of opposing pitchers. Where do you stand on that? Is that something that you do, or you just kind of go up there and trust that you're prepared?
I like watching film personally for like my own sake to see like, oh, if my swing looks funny, I like to like dissect that. And I also like to see like what the pitcher's throwing, not what she's throwing per se, but just what she looks like. So I'm not thrown off by seeing any of her movements or anything. So I don't dive too deep into film, but I'm definitely a fan of it.
And do you have any initial thoughts on Utah and what challenges they present?
We're looking to win all 4.
Anything else? Okay, thanks, Raina. Thanks, Janelle.